is I want to talk a little bit about who this challenge is for. So number one, maybe you're here right now because you're an aspiring kingdom coach. Well, Travis, what do you mean? An aspiring kingdom coach, when I say that, what I mean is you're someone who expressed an interest in starting your own coaching business. Okay. So if you are here and you're just trying to see what this is all about, then this challenge is for you. Number two, if you're currently a leader, you have your own business, you're doing some big things for God, and you just want to launch your own coaching program on top of that, then this challenge is for you. And then obviously, if you are an experienced coach and you want to scale your coaching business to multiple six figures and beyond, this challenge is for you, because we're going to go from basic to advanced real quick. We only have 3 days to work with you. So obviously, we don't want to fire hose you. We want to give you what you need though to hit those goals that we promised you. So what you're about to learn tonight, and if you guys are excited about this, I see everyone's dropping fire emojis. I love it. So awesome. Guys, what you are about to learn through this 3-day online challenge took me from no money to $371,000, not including other streams of income, in just the last 12 months in the coaching space. Okay. This is not including other spaces I'm in. This is exclusively the coaching space. Okay. Now, some of you are wondering, who is Travis? And I'm a husband. And I'm going to share some pictures with you. This is when I actually engaged my now wife, Elizabeth. And that was in January of this year. And then here's some other pictures. Here's some pictures of our wedding that we had in May. We were able to have our dream wedding paid in full, and it's been absolutely amazing. But let me just say this, guys. It didn't start like this. Like, I didn't come from a background where everything was handed to me. I didn't come from a background where I received an inheritance, or my parents were wildly successful business people and entrepreneurs. In fact, I actually came from an environment where I grew up in a broken home. And it's not funny. I'm just laughing because I'm overwhelmed by the goodness of God and how things could change so quick for you guys. Like, a lot of you here right now, you all have a story to tell, and this is part of mine. So people used to always say, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And people would say, oh, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a firefighter. Let me know in the chat, what did you want to be when you grew up? Because for me, in the environment I was in, I wanted to be a gangster, right? And so this is a picture of me. Like, actually, it's crazy because behind all of those clothes on these wired hangers are holes in the wall, because I used to punch holes in the wall. And long story short, guys, like, I grew up in a broken home. All 3 of my brothers went to prison. Oldest brother stabbed 9 times. And and the reason I share that with you is just to give you some context on how it was growing up. I remember I was always told I would never amount to anything. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I mean, I remember I was assigned someone in class because I was slow. In fact, I was held back a grade when I started in school. And I never thought, the way my life is now, I never thought that it would even be possible, because one powerful thing is, like, a lot of people in life, they live off of their circumstances, and they blame everything on everyone but themselves. And so me growing up, I was around the wrong people. And I remember, as I'm getting into the story, I remember at the age of 14, I literally had one of the first really dark moments of my life. And it was when I remember my mom had sent me to a high school, and it was a technical high school where you could learn a trade. And it was like her only hope for me was to go to this school, separate myself from the bad friends who were doing drugs and alcohol and getting into fights and just doing crazy stuff. Right. And I remember when I went to this high school, like, my mom's biggest hope was, because it was like 45 minutes away and I would learn a trade like electrical or working on cars or building houses, she thought like it would be the perfect thing for me. However, in my first 2 weeks of high school, I actually almost got expelled and kicked out of school because I started getting into fights. I started hanging around the wrong people. And I remember at that point, I was sitting in the principal's office, and I was like, I was begging the principal, please give me a second chance. Like, if my mom finds out about this, and how many of you could relate to that? Maybe something crazy happened in your life where you felt like please give me a second chance. And that's one of the most amazing things about the Lord is he's the God of many chances. Like, no matter what you do, no matter how bad you messed up, his arms are always wide open, and he's like always there, and all you have to do is run to him. So all of that to say, in that moment, I was like, and I didn't grow up in a Christian home. I mean, my dad was Catholic. I always jokingly say that my dad used to drag me to church once a year to cast the devil out of us growing up. But the thing is, guys, for those of you watching right now, I remember I was begging the principal for another chance, and my mom, she tells me now that apparently the principal did call her, but the principal, they gave me a second chance. And in that same time frame, my oldest brother, he was in prison for about 4 years at this point, and he was like, Travis, you don't have to go down the same path as me. He called me one night, and he's like, you can make something out of your life. You could turn it around. How many of you have someone in your life that they speak that to you? Like, maybe some of you growing up, you had a person in your life that actually believed in the best in you. And that was exactly what happened for me. I finally came to this place where I was a troubled teenager, and I came to this place where it felt like for the first time in my life, someone actually believed I could do something great. Because a lot of people are like, Travis, you're going to end up in prison by the age of 16. You'll never amount to anything. You'll never make anything out of your life. You're going to be just like, your brothers and your friends. And long story short, my oldest brother, he sent me this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I remember I read that book 3 times at the age of 14 years old. And in that moment, when I read that book, everything began to change for me, guys. Like, everything. I read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I started changing my mindset from I can never amount to anything. I'm going to just sell drugs. I'm going to get into trouble. And I started saying, like, how can I be successful? How can I make something out of my life? And that's what a lot of you are here now is like, how can I grow my business? How can I be an entrepreneur? How can I start, grow, and scale my coaching business? And so for me, it was a pivotal moment in my life. And I literally read this book and I started trying everything. I mean, I tried network marketing, affiliate marketing, landscaping, all of these different business models. And then I came to a place where I actually, at 16 years old, I started making money with e-commerce. And then by 18, I was actually making $38,000 a month with 3 product lines on Amazon.com. I was in a business partnership. I used to travel to California, Las Vegas all the time. And this is where everything changed again. Here I was, like, I thought money was the answer. I thought that money would give me ultimate freedom and fulfillment. And I came to find out real quick that wasn't the truth. In fact, a lot of people will tell you when they make millions of dollars that they feel empty, they feel depressed, they feel like they don't have a purpose. And that's the truth, guys, is like a lot of people, they achieve these results and they feel absolutely empty. And that's where I was at 18. I remember I hit a 3-week depression. And long story short, I was driving home one night and literally hit another massive dark moment in my life. And I actually attempted to take my life. I was driving down the street and I went to crash my truck into a tree and take my life. This supernatural force intervened. And I went home, got on my hands and knees, and I said, God, if you're real, change my life or I'm going to kill myself. And literally in that moment, everything changed for me. I shut all of my businesses down, gave everything up. And then I literally, a pastor said, Travis, there's a call of God on your life. I went through 4 years of Bible college. Here's a picture of me what we would do in Bible college is we would do these outreaches where our pastor would give a budget and he would give away thousands of dollars worth of groceries and gift cards and bill pays to give back to a community. And we would literally just preach the gospel to them. And so there's some pictures of that. And then some of you are wondering, Travis, what are you doing with the goat in the middle photo? And that was my last 6 months of Bible college. That was Buster the goat. And I did an internship at my pastor's farm. And that's where I had my breakthrough. I remember I laid all of this business stuff down and I felt like I always felt like there was this, I was playing tug of war. Like on one side, I had radical on fire Christian friends. And then on the other side, there's all of these like unbelieving anti-kingdom people who are literally making six figures, seven figures, crushing it in business. And I used to feel like, and how many of you could relate to this? How many of you feel on the Zoom, on Facebook, that you have a call of God on your life, and at the same time you feel a call into business? And I felt like I was stuck between the two. Like I knew that God called me into ministry, and I also knew God called me into business, but I didn't know how to bring them together. And that's when literally I came to a place where I always had that battle. And I'll hit on more of that and how I solved that here shortly. But just to give you context on, why I stopped business and everything. But in my last 6 months of internship, I had like $20 to my name. I invested into a program and I made $5,300 in literally less than 7 days. And I actually borrowed the money, but that's a whole nother story. So here's right after Bible college, I started traveling and preaching, going to different churches, going on ministry trips and missions trips. And actually in this video, let me share these with you. So here's some pictures of me traveling and preaching, doing missions work. Actually, this was, we were doing hurricane relief in the Bahamas after a major hurricane. And then here's another picture. I actually, on January of 2020, I went to this church in Orlando, and the pastor prophesied over me, and he said, the Lord says, start it back up. And he barely knew anything about me and that I did business stuff, but he said, the Lord's going to use you to crush it in business. And literally what happened after I received that prophetic word is a pastor at the Bible college I was attending and just graduated from, he went to go launch a church in Baltimore, Maryland. And literally in March of 2020, when the world like was shut down, how many of you know about COVID? Obviously all of us here, right? And the whole world was shut down, and went to be part of this church plant, and God radically blessed the ministry. And I remember I held on to that word, and the Bible actually talks about, I believe it's in 2 Timothy, where he tells Timothy, like, hold on to the prophetic words you've received. And the prophetic word I received was that God was going to bless me in business like crazy. And so here's what happens. Can I be real with you guys? Can I just be real for a moment? Let me know if I could be real with you. Drop yes in the chat on Zoom. Drop yes in the chat on Facebook, because if I'm being real with you, what happens is a lot of kingdom people feel a call to crush it into business, but many times they never take action. Somebody put action in the chat. Sometimes your dream that you want to accomplish, the thing you need to do to get one step closer to it being a reality is taking action. And I knew I did not just want to be another kingdom person who's like sitting on prophetic words when God specifically called me into business too. I knew I didn't just want to sit on that word, but I wanted to do something with it. Like, okay, this is crazy. Like, this is confirmation. I know God's calling me back into business. And so long story short, guys, guess what I did? I took action. And in September of 2020, I officially launched the business that God put into my heart. And then on the back of it, I started coaching people how to do the same thing. And so literally in September, I made over $70,000 between my two businesses, and 32,000 of it in less than 3 days, taking on 32 clients. And it was a course. So it wasn't like I had to do all this work with them. It was a once thing said and done. And so I literally just started taking that model, and I was like, let me do this again. Let me serve people. And many of you here tonight, you are called to serve people in your coaching business. You are called to serve people with your skills, talents, and abilities. And another thing I will say is this, guys, is last year in 2021, because now we're in 2022, last year, the Holy Spirit spoke to me. He said, I want you to show kingdom people how to do the same thing. And so long story short, like, this was with an offer. There's a lot of people, let me just be real with you. There's a lot of people right now who are who are coaching coaches how to scale their business, but they never actually had success with their own offer in another niche. They just went through a program, learned all this stuff, and now they're like the expert coaching people. Like what Brandon and I are bringing on this challenge, we actually proved it in another niche. Like the numbers you're hearing about in the coaching space is not including the money I actually have made teaching people how to do their own coaching business. That's with a whole nother offer. So the point in all of that is the money, the riches are in the niches. Someone write that in the comments. The riches are in the niches. One of the best ways to be successful is like if you're in the fitness niche or you're in a niche of sharing your skills and abilities with other people, like you could radically crush it. And so just to keep the testimonies coming, guys, I did it again. And I literally did another 3-day challenge, did over $120,000 in revenue. And literally, that's a screenshot of someone sending me $44,000 through PayPal. And it actually was over 60 grand when it was all said and done. Then I did another launch to onboard clients. And this is all teaching Kingdom people how to crush it with an e-commerce business. And then here, another 120 clients. And some of that, they were on payment plans. So it only shows $91,000 on the screenshot. Then, I mean, guys, I just kept going, onboarding clients. And then here's some more testimonies of my Stripe account and numbers I was hitting in a single day. And guys, like everything just exploded. And literally, in the last 12 months, I've been able to produce over $371,000 in the coaching space. And literally that's taking, I'll be real with you guys. I took 7 months off last year. So literally it wasn't like I was out there busting my tail 10 hours a day. There's a lot of gurus out there, and don't drink from that Kool-Aid where they make you think you got to be spending 12 hours a day to make it happen for years straight. Because let me tell you something, one of your shortcuts is actually being on this challenge, because Brandon and I, instead of you watching all of these YouTube videos, trying to figure it out by yourself, watching all these webinars from these so-called gurus, you're literally learning the framework in this 3-day challenge on how it all started. So guys, I literally went from this and hopefully you saw this. So here's obviously the other proof, because sometimes I'm switching back and forth, but literally, I mean, it's just amazing to see what the Lord has done. And then from this, literally in 2019, interning at a farm in Bible college, literally had negative $20 to my bank account, to making massive kingdom impact, traveling and preaching, seeing lives change, launching businesses. I have a client who did $160,000 in literally less than 4 months working with me. And so our goal, guys, is we are on a mission through what we're doing now, through this movement of kingdom coaches. We are on a mission to raise up 3,000 kingdom coaches to crush it in these last hours. If you feel like you're one of those coaches, drop a fire emoji or a hand emoji in the chat, and even type in me. Like if you feel like you're one of those kingdom coaches who's going to take your skill set, take what you've learned, and literally make impact with it, let me know. All right, the chat's blowing up. Hey, Brandon, we have the right people on here tonight, because these people are serious and they're ready to make impact. And let me say this, Brandon and I, the reason we're able to drop all of this money on ads is because we want to reach people just like you, where we could help you and show you how to turn your knowledge and skill set into a thriving coaching business, right? And so part of the mission that I live by on a day-to-day basis is to make eternal impact through the advancement of the kingdom in every realm. And the vision of this movement is to have 3,000 kingdom coaches overall, and on average, each coach making $10,000 a month, which if everyone is giving and sowing seed, that could at minimum of 10%, like tithing 10% towards churches that have their hand into evangelism, that could be equivalent to $36 million going into the gospel every year, 18 million souls being saved, because in certain ministries, like based on what they do, some ministries, like, they could win souls at $2 a soul, like when they're doing outreaches and things to reach the lost. And so another thing is, one will put 1,000 a flight, two will put 10,000 a flight. And let me tell you guys something. 3,000 will put millions to flight. And that is the goal of this movement. And that is what we're doing here. So all I wanted to do, guys, is really give you a brief introduction about myself, on how literally I had all of the excuses, guys, in the book on why I can't be successful, why I should fail. God radically transformed my life at 18 years old. And now I'm on a mission to do this. And with that being said, one thing is, I want to welcome Brandon to the Zoom platform, and I really want Brandon to share his story. So, and the reason we do this, guys, is, I know a lot of people, when they do webinars, they barely tell an introduction about themselves, and I believe that you guys should know who you're working with and who is teaching you on this challenge. Like, Brandon and I are not in a basement somewhere, living at our parents' house, like, recording these videos. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, Brandon, I want to welcome you on here.
Yo, what's up, guys? Excited to share with you a little bit. I don't have slides like Travis did. We teach the same things, but we have very different personalities. Like, Travis is very detail oriented and great with, like, tasks like that. And for me, I'm just going to kind of give you a brief summary off the top of my head of kind of my story in regards to, like, my journey with the Lord, maybe like 2 minutes here max. But yeah, I mean, grew up not really in a Christian home. I mean, I went to church here and there with my grandma. So I guess you could say I got saved at the age of 7, if I remember correctly. And, didn't really, walk with the Lord until I was about 18, had an encounter that really, changed everything for me. And, from that moment, went to Bible college, interned at, a few churches for a few years there, and kind of fell back into the world and chasing money. So I had started, a couple businesses and was making like $30,000 a month roughly. At that time, just really realized that, this isn't what God has for me, and just kind of shut everything down. Eventually there I found, like, this industry, the coaching industry. And at the time I was working for, one of my old mentors that has a coaching business, and they do about $50 million a year. And, after being in that circle for, a few years there, was obviously still serving at my church, getting my heart right back with the Lord, like things like that. I just really saw the opportunity, because I knew I was called to ministry and to business, like Travis was talking about. And I just saw a huge opportunity with coaching, being able to really, make great money, minister to people, and still basically be a kingdom coach, which is the whole reason we're doing this challenge. And yeah, through, seeing other coaches, probably, worked with over 1,000 coaches now, anywhere from, 0 just starting out all the way up to like, 400, 500,000 a month. I've just really seen inside and out of the industry over the last 5 years. And I'm convinced personally, there's literally not a better industry to be in, especially right now. Like, there's this thing that people keep saying, the great resignation. Literally, people are quitting their jobs left and right. They're seeing that you can make money online. You can make money doing your own thing. And why not make money doing something where you're able to, impact other people, and you really bring a change to their life. And that's what coaching is moving people from point A to point B. And, point A for you guys, I mean, most of you on the call are probably, under 5K in your coaching business, or maybe you don't even have a business yet. Our goal by the end of this challenge, and, over the next, time working together, is to get you to 10K a month, like Travis just showed you, and beyond, really. So that we can see, the advancement of the kingdom move forward, kingdom coaches move forward, and really just be an impact maker everywhere we go. So yeah, that's my story in a nutshell. Obviously there's a lot more facets to it, but just want to keep it kind of short with you guys. That way, don't lose focus and kind of get into the meat here.
Amazing. And guys, check this out. The cool thing is, I know we say 10K a month on average, but the reality is there's people doing way beyond that. So I don't want you to get caught up like, oh, I could only make 10,000. I mean, there's people doing 6 figures a month. In fact, um, we'll show some testimonies throughout this, but Brandon, real quick, I want you to go over this. I'm gonna pull up the graphic, but just one guy, he was actually on our last challenge, but he applies this Kingdom Coach framework, and he's literally making over $30,000 a month right now, and he was able to accomplish that within 6 months. So, Brandon, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Frank here. He was one of my previous clients, and he didn't really know what he wanted to do as far as like as life goes, I guess you could say. And at the time, I was already coaching. Like I mentioned, I'd been in an industry, working for a coach, and like I talked about it quite often because I mean, like whenever I say they made 30 million, like that's like 95% profit. So I would kind of mention what I did here and there. And he was like, dude, like I want to start a coaching business. And we took a look at really his life based off like the framework I use to help people create offers. And actually, Frank went through a divorce. Like he's obviously, a Christian guy. I don't know if it says that on there, but, loves the Lord, preaches still. But 5 years prior, he had a rough divorce. And was like one of the worst seasons of his life. And I just like asked him a couple of questions, like, yo, dude, like, would you be willing to help other people through that season? Because that's like the main part of your story that God really helped you get over. And literally built an offer, showed him how to get clients organically. And yeah, like Travis said, he's literally doing like $30,000 a month. He texted me the other day. Chris Rock just followed him on Instagrams. So that's pretty cool. So I mean, the Lord's definitely using him and his business. So it's pretty cool to see.
So amazing. So guys, what we want to do, let's see some engagement in the chat real quick. What we want to do is like our number one goal for today is to really share with you who we are, what we've been able to accomplish. We're going to do a giveaway tonight as well. But Brandon is going to teach you guys real quick and give you some more information because a lot of you here are new in a way. And what we want to do is we want to get into some basics of what an offer is and how to make sure your offer is 100% irresistible. And then tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to go really deep into that. And then it's going to be off the chain. So Brandon, why don't you go ahead and just share with everyone what an offer is? And one thing Brandon does really good is draw things out. So you guys should see his screen in a second.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to give you kind of like a brief overview here, just like of a coaching business in general. And then, we'll dive kind of like into the offer. And again, this is just like a really high level, quick little teaching here, but we call this like the core four. It's really four pillars to a coaching business. Like number one is mindset. Second is offer. Third, marketing, and lastly is sales. So I like to draw this out. Just it's a great visual just for you guys to see. So like point A for you, most of you watching is $0 is what I'm guessing based on like how we marketed the challenge, potentially 0
And
to 5K.
some of you might be, I mean, I do know we have some people in here that are probably stuck at, less than 20K a month, right? So there could be
Yeah.
someone on here that's like maybe around 5, 10, even 20 grand. So if you're on here and you are already making a lot of money in coaching, like still stick to this because throughout this challenge, we're going to go deep and show you how you could scale that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just put maybe two brackets, 0 to 5K, or you're like at 10 to let's say 30. So it's really just like a point A to point B kind of a journey. And literally point B, again, is like the 10K mark that we mentioned. And maybe for like the people who are like more of like wanting to scale, let's just go ahead and put 100K. The framework is exactly the same either way. So number one, like you've got to manage your mindset. The Bible is just littered with all of these scriptures about your mindset, right? Like as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you think you're not worthy to make 10K a month, like you're not going to make 10K a month. If you think you're not worthy to help your clients get results, you're not going to make an impact. So we have to get your mindset in the right place. That's step one. And obviously the mindset factor is more of like an ever going thing that you're going to be working on, until the rest of your life. So the rest are more of like a linear process. Number one, like as far as like the business practicals go, we have to build an offer. And an offer is just simply helping someone go from point A to point B. Right. So for instance, our offer is helping you guys go from 0 to 5K to, 10K per month consistently. We have another offer where we help you scale from, 10 to 30, like upwards of to, 100K per month. So that's the transformation. And, for Frank, it was, people, going through a heartbreak, and just having a hard time with their divorce, into like finding their healing. Famous people like Dave Ramsey, people go like from being in debt to being debt free. And it's just a point A to point B transformation, being overweight to being in shape, being, immature to being mature. So many different things you can help with, from your marriage falling apart to having a flourishing godly marriage. Like there's so many offers out there. And all I want you to focus on is like, you help people go from point A to point B. That is essentially an offer. And what we found, and like what I've found after helping over 1,000 clients, like easily you can charge anywhere from 2.5K upwards of like 10 to 15K for any of the offers that I just mentioned. And pretty much that's like the standard of the coaching industry, and really even a low standard. There's 30K, 40K, 50K offers out there. But when you're just starting out, like this is a great sweet spot to start helping people. So with that mindset factor, I'm assuming everyone's going to get up to speed in their mindset. I'm assuming, that tomorrow, on our hot seats, we're going to help all of you guys build an offer that we can. The next phase is really just marketing. And I'm not going to go deep into this here, but if we could book you 5 to 10 sales calls a week and get you closing at 25%, like based on the math alone, selling the 2.5K offer that I mentioned, booking 5 to 10 calls a week, closing 25%, like a bad month for you should be 10K per month. So I just want you to see like the holistic view, of the business. And yeah, I mean, again, that's kind of how the coaching business operates. And the whole purpose though, is to really ask God, what change are you supposed to bring into the world? Like, what is the point A that you are called to solve? And what I typically ask people is, what is your passion? What is your experience? And what are your skill sets? Because like at the intersection of these three things is literally where I find people thrive, and it's where they find their perfect offer. So for me, my passion is people, right? My experience is, life coaching and coaching, and my skill set, I would say, is like online coaching and business. So like the perfect offer for me is literally what I'm doing right now. For Frank, it was people. Experience was a divorce, and skill set is managing thoughts. So he can help people get over a divorce by the way they manage their mind and talk to, the Lord. And through that, there's a transformation. So I'd really take some time and like figure out what this is for you, and pray about what problem or problems are you called to solve. Like for us, we want to help people get out of like the 9 to 5 and into, like their purpose. Because really a coaching business is a great vehicle for you to literally make money, changing other people's lives. And, that's really what we're here to do. So this is really high level, quick overview of an offer. So Travis, yeah, dude, I think that's really all I wanted to share, man. If you want to take it back.
That's awesome. Let us know in the chat real quick on Zoom. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you kind of have a understanding on what an offer is? Essentially, it's finding out what point A is and what point B is. So an example, obviously, with what Brandon was saying, is identifying a problem and then identifying the solution. Like in very simple terms, like identifying the problem, identifying the solutions. Now, let me say this. Tomorrow, we are going to actually put some people in the hot seat. Now, someone was sharing a crazy story with me last time we did hot seats, and they were talking about how they have a different definition of hot seats. But the hot seats we're referring to for tomorrow is we're going to bring some of you on here live, and we're actually going to help you map out your offer. Okay. So for those of you who are excited about that, let us know in the chat. Please do not miss tomorrow. And we're not done tonight, but I just want to say we're going to go deeper. We just wanted to give you a little overview. This way you kind of have an understanding on how this works. And then what I want to do is another thing is I call it the who, what, how statement. And so if you're taking notes, you could write this down. And essentially what's going on here is it's coming up with this statement. And in fact, I want everyone as one of your homework assignments to come up with your who, what, how statement. And the way you do it is by answering these questions. Who, what, how. So I help who, which to answer that is who would you work with if you had an option to work with one person for the rest of your life, who would it be? Are they faith-based? Are they fitness, health? Really it comes down to three core categories, which is wealth, health, and relationships. Those are like three massive high level overview of the core three. So really it's saying I help who, which would be the micro niche. Like for example, I help doctors achieve what's their desired outcome. Maybe let's say it's a doctor who has their own practice. Like I help doctors get more clients or scale their practice through how. So like that would be like your business process or your method on how you want to teach them. And an example would be for like, go for it.
Yeah, Travis, real quick, dude. I left out a piece that I really want to show, like as Travis is mentioning, and we're gonna go deeper in this tomorrow, but just so like I give you like a good framework at least to kind of run with and kind of think through. Again, I talked about a lot now, point A to point B. Pain is like point A, desired outcome is point B. What's the point of them working with you? And then when Travis is saying the how, it's like the bridge method. Like literally, coaching is taking people from point A on a journey across the bridge, which is your program, to point B. And I'm just giving you an example. For us, is like our pillars are mindset, offer, sales, and marketing. For you, depending on what your pain point is, it could be something totally different. So like another guy I mention all the time is like Dave Ramsey. Like he's like, save up, $1,000 emergency fund, get a 6 months emergency fund. So you'll have different pillars than we do, but it's basically a framework that you can use to create that bridge for your clients. And the way to fulfill it typically is like group coaching, you know what I mean? Online, one-to-one Zoom calls. You can put them, in like a Facebook group, things like that. Very practical is how you fulfill it. And you just teach them these frameworks that get them to the destination. So another thing I'll say is like, don't get overwhelmed by all of this info. Like, I know it can be overwhelming at times and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Like, just trust us, hang with us through this process. And we're going to help you get there.
So good. So guys, like an example again could be like for us, I help Kingdom coaches we're helping Kingdom coaches, right? What are we helping them do? Well, we're helping you scale to 6 figures and beyond. How are we doing that? Through our organic framework and online challenges. Okay. So with that being said, like we don't want this to be so over your head at all, which is why obviously we're trying to keep it simple for day one, but we really just wanted to give you that framework and that mindset. And so what I'm going to do real quick, and let us know in the chat how many of you are finding some value out of tonight. And again, it's only going to build up because tomorrow, like you guys are going to be blown away. In fact, on our last challenge with what we're going to show tomorrow helped so many people on the last challenge we did. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I have a few more things. Is obviously like we kind of gave you an introduction of ourselves and our story and everything. And then with that being said, before I go to the next part, how many of you Brandon and I decided to do something crazy for this challenge. And I'll give you a little backstory. But if you guys want access to a super cool, ridiculous bonus that we're giving you for free, and we'll tell you what that is in a minute, go ahead and drop some fire in the chat. And while you're doing that, so here's the backstory is when some people do like online challenges or different things, typically what they do is they do this thing where they call it the VIP experience. And it's different for everyone, but what a lot of people do is they charge anywhere from $100 to $400, and they do an extra hour every day of the challenge. So for instance, this challenge ends here shortly. If we were to do that, you would literally pay at least $100, and we would do an extra hour with you and really essentially just answer all your questions. However, Brandon and I were thinking on this challenge, like we would do something pretty insane. And because of that, we're really limiting the amount of people we're going to do this for, simply because obviously we want to do it for everyone. It's just no way we could. But typically, like if you were to consult with me, I charge over $1,000 an hour. And I know Brandon's prices are pretty up there too. But what we're going to do is, you guys ready? Where's the fire emojis at? Okay, I see the fire emojis. So let me just say this before I share this, there's very few spots for this. So it's a first come, first serve. So I'm going to give you guys like 10 seconds or so. Like Brandon, set a quick timer. But I'm going to show you the link, and I believe it's the first 6 of you, it's going to be free. And then we're actually not making it available for sale. So even if you wanted to pay for it, you couldn't. But for the first 6 people, when you see this link, make sure you run to the link quick. So I'm just going to give you guys a minute to get some device where you could go to this website and do this for free. So y'all ready? Put ready in the chat if you're ready for me to drop the link. Okay, Earl, he's ready. He's like, man, I'm about to run. All right, awesome. So guys, first 6 people, you ready? This is what Brandon and I are going to do. And we might open it up to some more spots, but we are doing a $297 bonus, because for us to do this individually with you guys, like it's easily more than that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a free strategy call with 6 of you. Okay. So the first 6 of you to go here, and we're only opening up tomorrow to do this. And there's going to be other opportunities on here, so don't feel bad if you missed out. But the first 6 of you that go to this link, it's strategycall.travisventrella.com. You're going to get a free strategy call with Brandon and I. And so, Brandon, I'm not sure if you want to say anything about that real quick. Where are you? Let me bring you back on here. And guys, again, the reason we're not charging for this is because we really want to over deliver on this challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of like Travis said, not to, I don't mean to want this to come off arrogant. Let me say it that way. I don't want it to come off arrogant, but yeah, I mean, usually we would charge like multiple 4 figures for something like that. But obviously Kingdom Coach Challenge, really wanting to make an impact more than just like make money. So yeah, I mean, go ahead and like book in, and hopefully, it's really a 45-minute to hour session that could literally change even your life, but for sure your future coaching business or your current one. So yeah, I'm excited to chat with you guys tomorrow.